This is A Few Good Fights, episode 29. I'm your host, Robert Palin, and I am joined, as always, by Sean Taylor. Sean, how are you?
I'm good, man. Looking
Sweet.
forward to a damn good weekend.
Me too. And we're going to get to that really soon. We have some news we want to talk about. Ben Askren might retire. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But I'm going to leave some timestamps below. If all you're interested in is UFC 244, and to be honest, that's kind of all we're...
Blame you.
Yeah, we can't blame you. Go down to the comments below or the description and click that little timestamp and it'll bring it to 244. But let's jump into the news. It'll be really quick and then let's talk some fights. So before we talk about UFC 244, I want to talk about some of the news. Don't want to go too deep into it, Sean, because people, and I think when I say people, that includes me and you, are really interested in 244. I think that's what we want to talk about. That's what people want to hear. But there's a bit of news and I wanted to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Askren lost to Damian Maia last week on Saturday, and that's two in a row, and two where he's been put out cold, one from a knockout, one from a choke.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's talking about retirement. So what's your thoughts on Ben Askren's future? Do you think that retirement is I don't know if a good option is the right word, but do you think that retirement is possibly the way he should go?
Yeah, I think potentially. I think it's a fair option for him. He said it himself in his interview with Ariel. He was as honest as ever. He said, I'm going to have to win 3 to 5 fights to get back in title contention. I mean, looking back on it, I don't think it's much of a... I don't think it's... it matters really who got the better end of the deal between one and the UFC. They both got something they wanted at the time.
I completely agree.
Did we get Ben in his prime? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. I think that's what you kind of have to look at. Does he really have 3 to 5 more tough fight camps in him to go at it again? I don't think he does.
Yeah.
Listening to him on Ariel, I don't think he does.
Yeah. 2 things on that. So the whole one UFC thing, like who got the better deal, like I think you can make an argument either way. Like Demetrius Johnson, of course, is one of the best fighters in the world, and he's doing good things in one. Not that anybody's watching, but he's doing good things. But then you have the opposite of the spectrum there. You have Ben Askren, who isn't doing great things in the UFC in terms of his results. He's only had 1 win, and that was dubious, to say the least.
I don't think it was dubious, but anyway.
Yeah, well, it was controversial,
yeah.
To say the least. I agree. I think it was controversial.
Yeah.
I don't think dubious. Yeah. But they made a star in Jorge Masvidal, and I don't think you can really... Like, I know Masvidal doesn't want to accept that Ben Askren was a big part of him becoming a star. Just like I don't think Nate wants to admit that Conor was a big part of him becoming a star. And that's not to say that they wouldn't have become a star or stars if they weren't around.
Yeah.
But they're part of the story. It is what it is, you know. And it's not to say that Nate wasn't more important than that, or Jorge wasn't more important than that, because they had to do the job. But they are part of the story. So I think the UFC got a great deal, even though he's not winning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. They got both parties got something they wanted, I think.
Exactly,
yeah, look, if I was Ben, he's probably made his money at this stage. He's got his wrestling academies going and stuff. He can make money outside of the sport. There's no real need for him to prove himself anymore, I don't think. Yeah,
and I also think, just also on that was a great point. They both got something they wanted. I think the UFC, what they wanted was like commercial business.
Totally.
They wanted business. And for one, I don't think they ever thought they were going to get business from Demetrius Johnson, but what they did get was credibility, having a guy like that in their roster. So I think they got what they wanted. On Ben, in terms of his retirement, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he'd done it, because of the fact that he's been to such heights in MMA, but also in wrestling, that he doesn't seem like a guy that will necessarily just stick around just to have fights. I think he wants to be competitive at the highest level.
I agree. He got to test himself as well in the UFC. He may have failed, but it seems like he's like, well, look, I got to test myself. So
exactly,
that kind of view.
And he left his mark. Yeah, you know, he lost some fights, but he left his mark.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the card too much, but Damian Maia.
Big up Damian Maia.
Yeah,
3-fight win streak now.
Yeah, like, man, he's like in his 40s now. I don't think he's making a title run.
No, I don't think so.
A couple more fights for Damian Maia, a few more paychecks. Did he say who he wanted to fight? Is it Diego Sanchez or something?
Diego Sanchez,
but
or
he's
something
out
like
of contract, isn't he?
Yeah.
Weird one. But yeah, the card's ages ago, but I just wanted to talk about Ben Askren, to be honest. Dana White confirmed that Khabib versus Tony is in the works for Q1 next year, so early next year. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I guess
I believe that they're working on the fight.
Yeah, because they better be.
Yeah,
but like,
it's hard with that fight in particular. It's hard to believe anything until I see the two of them step into the cage.
Completely agree.
We've been burned too many times.
Yeah, like,
and it's always the hope that kills you. every time.
That's very true. Who wins if they fight?
Tune in Q1 next year.
Exactly. There, keep them waiting. That's it. We've talked about that fight too much. I think that's all we need to say.
We've talked about that fight a lot in the last couple of weeks. So
Make it happen. Did you see this with Israel Adesanya?
I did, yes.
So it looks like Paulo Costa is injured. He says he's going to be back in April of next year. But that's like, kind of a
rough timeline.
A rough timeline. We don't know if that's going to happen, and it's a quick turnaround. But even then, Adesanya didn't really, get a scratch on him in his last fight, and he probably could fight before then. So it looks like it might be Paulo Costa. Yoel Romero, who of course lost to Paulo Costa. So
and to Bobby Knuckles.
So what's your thoughts on this potentially being the next matchup?
One of the decisions to Whittaker was very close and very contentious.
Yeah.
So, look, Yoel's always a pretty credible contender, I think. Don't really have a massive issue with it.
But do you like him like a fighter coming off a loss, going in and fighting a champion?
No, I don't. I don't like that. I don't doubt that Yoel is a credible contender. I think it's hard to promote a guy coming off 2 losses, 3 losses in a row.
Let me have a look.
Is that right?
I'll check that now.
The 2 fights with
could be
Whittaker.
Yeah.
He might have fought in between the 2 Whittaker fights. I'm trying to think now.
A lot of close decisions. A lot of close decisions in there. So 2 on the trot, 1 in between Luke Rockhold and the 2 Whittaker fights were.
So a guy who's 3-1 in his last 4. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's hard
or
to
1 and 3. If you want to say it that way.
Us knowing Yoel Romero, we're like, okay, that's still a tough fight and it's a good fight, but it's hard to promote a guy who's 3-1 getting a title shot.
Especially that your actual contender, the guy that's supposed to fight, is a guy that just beat him.
Yeah.
So he's going to come out and say, what's Yoel Romero getting this for?
Yeah. I don't think there's any... If Costa's ready to go in April, like, fight... What's that? 6 months of it?
Yeah.
Like,
to be honest, though, like...
That's not that bad.
No. If Kelvin Gastelum comes out with a win on the weekend and he's not too banged up, I'd like to see the rematch with Kelvin.
Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with that.
And Adesanya, because that was fun.
Yeah. But... I wouldn't have an issue with that rematch, but it's a 6-month timeline, roughly, say, for
Costa.
That's fine. Like, it's not like the division's been held up too much.
Plus, like, I guess, like, when I saw it, I was like, he didn't really go through a tough fight at Adesanya, but then he's fought a hell of a lot of times.
That's it. I would kind of like to see him take a bit of a break.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Maybe. I'd be surprised if they were making Romero, though. And I did see the text that Eugene Berman sent him. There's not much precedent for guys 3-1 in the last 4 fights getting title shots. No. It's a weird one. It's
child son territory. That's what that is. That's it for the main news I wanted to talk about. But there's a few bits and pieces, and I also got a few fan questions I want to run through really quickly. But Kat Zingano signed with Bellator.
Cool.
God's going to be watching, checking her out. Any thoughts on that?
Meh. Cool.
That's it.
Yeah. Anything else?
Fair enough. No.
Oh, 244, baby.
Not
Let's
really.
Check it.
Fan questions first. Questions first.
Come on.
We have a few.
Okay. Damn fans.
Yeah, damn fans. There was some good ones here. I just need to find.
A joke, of course.
Yeah, of course. So, Ross Geller, not the guy from Friends, I don't think.
That's a disappointment.
It could be. Asks, if Anderson and Walker goes to a decision, no way will they give it to Anderson. Is this a question? This is a statement. Anderson told that the UFC will not give him a title shot if he win. What do you think of this fight? And if Anderson will win, will he be worthy of a title shot?
That man needs to get his tinfoil hat off. The UFC wouldn't do such dirty things. So the first question was, if Anderson wins, is he worthy of a title shot? Oh no, what do I think of this fight? Sorry. I like the fight. It's a good step up for Johnny Walker, I think.
I agree.
It's a good step up for Johnny Walker. If he is, I think Johnny's still at the stage where we're going to see improvement from him. If he is what we think he is, we're going to see improvement from him in every fight. I think this is a good fight to see some improvement again. It's a step up. Do I think Corey is worthy of a title shot? At that weight class.
It's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah, at that weight class, probably. Do I think he's worthy? I don't know. At that weight class, probably.
Yeah, it's all relative. Like, do I think that he realistically should be competing for a title? Do I think he has a chance against John Jones? Nope.
Absolutely not.
Nope. But do I think that, if he beats Walker, I don't know, maybe.
I think the UFC,
shocking.
They know that they need to do something big with John next, not Corey Anderson or fucking whoever.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
It sounds like heavyweight is the only way to go for John.
Yeah.
We spoke about John Jones to death over the last. Yeah, look, I like the fight. It's a good step up. Do I think Corey is worthy of a title shot? No. Could he get one? Probably.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. Jesse Mago has said, has USADA been exposed? Thinking back on Johnny Bones getting the whole fight card moves and how fast they cleared up Diaz in a couple of days, and then they told him to keep it quiet. Has USADA been exposed?
Have you a can opener for that can of worms here? I don't know. That's something we could talk about all day.
Yeah,
USADA. I mean, Nate pulled the power play on USADA. He was like, "Fuck you guys, I ain't fighting.
Yeah.
Clear my name." And he got it done in 2 days. Whereas we've seen Sean O'Malley, who's Neil Magny, 6 months. Have they been exposed? I don't know if exposed is the right word. I think they're just way behind what's actually going on, and I don't think they're catching stuff that's relevant. Really, to be totally honest, I don't think they're catching guys who are intentionally doping.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, say if you work in a company and a lot of the upper people in the company, what they want is they want an answer. They want a number, an answer, something.
They just want to see some results.
Some result, because they want to go and show the shareholders, or they want to show the media, they want to show whoever these results. Getting those results isn't really the most important thing. It's just actually giving the results. So this kind of reminds me of this situation with USADA, that the UFC have hired USADA essentially to go in there and get them results, catch the cheaters at all costs almost. And I just think that they don't have the proper tools to actually do it, because I think that first thing, I think doping is just too far ahead in terms of guys who can get around it. And I also think that they don't really have the science down, because if you're going to like suspend Tom Lawler a few months ago for a similar thing, and he's out and he can't make money for months, and then Diaz for another similar thing can come back straight away.
2 days.
Come on.
I think there's an argument to be made that I think anyone who's intentionally doping, I think there's an argument to be made that if you're intentionally doping and you fail a drugs test, you should probably fail an IQ test as well. Because a lot of that stuff is so far ahead of what they're actually testing for. I think a lot of the guys getting caught aren't the guys who are intentionally cheating. So yeah, have they been exposed? I don't know. I think they're just too far behind what's actually going on.
Yeah. Papa Psycho said Diego Sanchez has been released from the UFC. What's next for the Nightmare? Bellator?
Bellator
or bare knuckle.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
I horrifically think it's going to be bare knuckle.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's going to be him versus Artem Lobov.
Oh, shivers.
Yeah. Here's actually a fun one. Jamie Salem. Of the champions who've lost their belt in the last year, who do you think could win it back? So he had i.e. Woodley, Whitaker, Rose, TJ, etc. And he said, I love the podcast, by the way, so you got to give him a good answer. Will I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I think Rose Namajunas is the one that sticks out to me, just because that division is so weird, and the person who beat her isn't the champion anymore. So I think that's a cool matchup. Like, I think that's an interesting matchup with Weili Zhang. I think Zhang is very good, but I think that's probably the one that sticks out to me anyway right now.
Yeah, I mean, Woodley hasn't fought since he lost, that's right.
Yeah, TJ won't be back for a while.
Fuck TJ.
Yeah.
Rose stands out just because, I mean, she was doing well in the fight with Andrade, but so the rematch is there anyway. If Andrade was still the champion, obviously Zhang is the champion now. That's a good matchup. It's different at the women's division as well. Yeah, Rose stands out to me. Woodley maybe, you know. I don't know. If Usman wasn't the champion.
Yeah, which,
you could say that about a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Rose is the one that stands out to me.
Same. David Nally said, who's the next fighter to get a UFC contract? That's a fun one. That's a fun one.
I'm trying to think of Cage Warriors now.
Yeah. Or Bellator, but like, you know, the higher guys in Bellator, like James, is going to stick around there for a while, I think.
Yeah. I need a Cage Warrior. That's the European pathway.
The hard one is Next, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next is the hard one. Like, I think Reese has a good chance of being there at some point. Reese McKee. Yeah, I think...
hope Reese gets one. I like Reese.
Yeah.
There's fighting down in Cork next.
I think the hard one on that is Next, because there's no one really right now for me who sticks out as being like in the next year. Like, I see a lot of people there who like Ian Gary who was like, I'd put my money on him probably getting like not probably I'd say if I had to make a bet now, I'd say Ian Gary makes it to the UFC.
Yeah, he's a guy who can talk himself into one early in his career as well.
Yeah. So unless like James Gallagher finishes his contract and then the UFC sign him up, maybe.
It's unlikely Bellator let that happen, you'd imagine.
Yeah, like I think probably, you know, in terms of how far they're along, Reece McKee has a decent shot if he continues on in Cage Warriors. But yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to Facebook. Bjorn Downs says he loves the podcast and asked this question. After Douglas Lima won the welterweight Grand Prix in Bellator recently, the fact that it's been said that Dana White, that this BMF belt be a one-time thing, do you think it would have been interesting to see the BMF belt awarded after a Grand Prix format with additional fighters such as McGregor, Gaethje, Lawler, Cowboy, etc.? So like do like some kind of tournament for the BMF belt, fuck me, instead of just having this one-time fight.
No. I think the intrigue around the BMF belt right now is that it's Masvidal and Diaz. I understand the concept, and I like the idea of all those guys facing off, but they don't need the BMF belt to be on the line for that, I think, for that to be interesting. Yeah.
I have a problem with tournaments in MMA right now because it's very hard to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think a tournament, if you're going to do a tournament, it has to be very close together for it to actually feel like a tournament. Because these Bellator ones, I liked it, but the fights were too spread apart, and
especially when semis and stuff out on the same night.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like a tournament to me. So I think unless they figure out how they can do that, it's very hard in combat sports.
I agree.
Unless it's like amateur boxing or something like that. Phil Campbell actually asked about the BMF belt. What happens after this? Is it going to be a one-time thing, or is it going to be a rolling team contested again after 244?
Is it? I don't. I mean, Dana has said it's a one-time thing. Dana talks a lot of bollocks sometimes. I mean, Nate is going to defend Nate's next fight. Whoever wins it, if Nate wins his next fight, he said it's going to be for.
It's going to be for the belt.
It's for this belt.
They're going to say it, but I guess will the UFC?
Will it officially be on the line? I doubt it, to be honest. I think Nate and Jorge, whoever should win, will probably put it on the line in their fights going forward because they'll pick and choose who they want to fight. Nate said he's only going to fight guys who are worthy, who he deems worthy. I'd imagine Jorge's probably on the same line of thinking, so they'll probably unofficially put it on the line. Officially, I don't think it'll be on the line again.
I'd lean towards that as well, that officially it won't be. They'll obviously say it will be, but I also think if this does huge numbers and the UFC see it and they see like people searching, keyword searching for a BMF belt and all this stuff, I think the UFC might be tempted just to do it again. It wouldn't surprise me. One more from Facebook and then one from Twitter, and then we'll move on. What will happen if Darren Till, if he wins in a spectacular fashion? Does everybody put the blame on the weight cut, and does he get an instant title shot?
Excuse me, I was yawning now.
Yeah.
You're boring me, Rob.
It's the question, it's not me.
No, it wasn't the question. It's a good question, actually. Does everyone blame the weight cut? If he wins in spectacular fashion, everyone blames the weight cut. Fact. Everyone blames the weight cut, to be honest. Does he jump for a title shot? Potentially, actually. If Adesanya wants to remain as active as he says, and Costa's out, and Romero's 3-1 in his last 4, he might be the next
title contender.
Yeah, he could easily be.
Yeah, like I think the winner of this, either way, could get it. Yeah, they realistically could. Yeah, I agree.
And the winner of this, I'd back. I'd be quite happy to see them again.
Yeah, I agree. Last one. This one is from Twitter. Betting Insider Journal, so get your tips there. Does Kelvin Gastelum get a rematch against Izzy if he wins? Also, where does Till go from here if he loses? So kind of a similar question, but if Till loses, where does it go? That's a bad loss. Like, I mean, not a bad loss, it's a good guy, but that run.
It's a bad loss, but it's against 3 fucking tough fights.
The Cash don't care. The Cashes don't care.
I don't think he gets cut after this.
No.
He's been too much of a company man.
But if he gets knocked out horrifically, and that's 3 in a row, like the Woodley one wasn't horrific.
You have to look at whisper it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one answer. Tough.
Yeah, and Gastelum, I think that he could get a rematch.
If he wins, rematch.
Yeah. Cool, let's move on. Let's talk about this card. It's a big one.
Yup.
It's happening, Sean. It's finally here. The card we were waiting for. UFC 244. Masvidal versus Diaz goes down this Saturday. It's a great card. But we're going to start at the main event. We're going to get into these fights because these fights are good. As I said, it's Masvidal against Diaz. It's for the BMF belt. What's your pick now? How are you feeling about this?
Oh, I've got a tingle.
Yeah.
I got as no context town would say, I've got a little tingle.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this fight.
Yeah.
Basically, the decision I have to make now is whether I stay up for the whole card or just the main card.
Yeah.
That's what I'm mulling over in my mind at the minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, very fucking excited for this fight.
Me too. It's a phenomenal fight. It's two guys who surprisingly are here at this point. They're main eventing in Madison Square Garden. We've spoke about all that kind of stuff, the promotion of this. I went in deep on these fights. Go check out the videos on the YouTube channel. But the fight itself, it's fascinating. It's a fight that I think everybody wanted to see for a long time, and now it's happening on the biggest stage. How do you think these guys match up against each other? And not what's your pick, but when this was announced, did you lean anywhere? Did you lean one side, or were you very even?
Originally very even, because you kind of still have in your head where these guys were at in their careers.
Coming off wins as well, like big wins.
It's still very much at the front, like not very much at the front, but still in your mind of where these guys were at before they hit this sort of like purple patch. Probably leaning a little bit towards Masvidal. I don't see either of them getting knocked out, bar a freak knockout like we saw against against Askren. Nate's too durable for that. I think Jorge is the same, especially at 170 when they're carrying that extra weight. Yeah, I don't see anything but a dogfight, to be honest. It's not going to be overly technical. They're not going to be shooting for takedowns. You might see some grappling exchanges.
Yeah, I think you might.
It's not going to be a hug fest. Put it that way.
Yeah, no sniffing of the balls, as Jorge will say. Yeah, I was the same. I was leaning towards Jorge Masvidal. I think just the fact that he's had them two huge wins lately does make you lean to him. So there's a little bit of biasy there because, you know, fastest knockout in UFC history, and of course the Till one.
And he's been more active as well.
And then the Nate Diaz fight, great performance, but wasn't a finish. And it was against Anthony Pettis, who, again, great fighter. But a guy he didn't have a lot of momentum. He just didn't.
Well, he knocked out Wonderboy.
He did, yeah. I mean, apart from the Wonderboy one. Like, I mean, he wasn't. Yeah, I don't think anyone. Like, I mean, going into that one, here's the difference.
I understand what you mean.
Going into that one, I don't think people were saying Nate Diaz was going to 100% win this fight. Whereas the Till one, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is a tough fight." And then the Masvidal one, or the Askren one, people were like, "Oh, this is a tough fight for Masvidal," and he turned it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun fight.
How do you see it playing out?
I'm leaning Masvidal, but I think the 5 rounds is interesting because we've seen Masvidal slow down before. Even in the Wonderboy fight, he slowed down a little bit. The Maya fight, he slowed down. Now, there was a lot of grappling in that fight, so that's very different. But Nate Diaz does put on a pace that not a lot of guys do.
It's phenomenal.
And like even Wonderboy, he doesn't put on a pace like that at all. Like Wonderboy is a very different fighter, whereas Nate Diaz, and Dan Hardy pointed this out in his breakdown of the fight, Nate Diaz, when he fights guys who he knows likes to be at range and likes to settle before they strike, Nate Diaz will start strong against them guys, and he'll try to push them back. He'll try to land some shots, and he'll try push them up against the cage. And Nate is great up against the cage. Like, he's not a big clinch guy, but when he gets in the clinch, he strikes to the body. He hits. He's really good there, striking wise. So it wouldn't surprise me if Nate comes out here and really puts on a lot of pressure early on. And I'm not sure how Masvidal will deal with that. I think Masvidal is a slicker guy. I think he's a slicker striker. But then Nate Diaz is a really, really long puncher. So it's really interesting in that way.
Yeah, like I said already, I don't see anything but a dogfight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pace is interesting with Diaz. If he comes out and puts it on the Masvidal quick, you could see Nate winning the first 2 rounds, and then Masvidal's chasing the fight,
which could be a tough one. Yeah, because Diaz gets better, I think, as the fight goes on,
and he can just stay at range and box.
Yeah.
For the rest of the fight if he needs to be.
I'll just be intrigued what the game plans are going to be here, because one thing that's really stood out to me about Masvidal over the last year or so, or a few months, is that he's talking about like how he's going to just end guys, and he doesn't want to like go to decision anymore. That's like something he wants to put away.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are talking about how Masvidal fought in the past and fought against certain guys, and they went to close decisions. I don't think he's going to employ a game plan like that anymore. Like, I think he's going to go for the kill, like he did against Darren Till. But like, he is a guy who likes to make reads early. So that's what does make it intriguing. But I don't think he's going to lay back. Like, if he's losing rounds, I think he's gonna make changes to his game plan in fight to try win this.
going for the kill against Nate Diaz is bold as well.
It is bold, yeah.
Because he's so durable.
Yeah.
One thing that is interesting, someone said it to me today actually, is just Nate's scar tissue.
Yeah.
I mean, you could easily see a bad cut open up. He does cut badly.
I don't think I've ever seen Masvidal cut. I can't remember. Yeah, it's weird.
But we do see Nate's face get pieced up quite quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's because he's not durable or anything. It's just because he's been in a lot of dog fights. So.
Yeah, he's bled a lot. Yeah, man, this is a tough fight to call. It's a really, really tough fight to call.
Do you want the odds?
Sure, I have.
Do you have them?
No, I just have a feeling it's quite close.
Yeah.
But,
Jorge is 8-13, and which seems quite big or quite short, but when you put it in decimals, it's different. But and then Nate is around the 7-5 mark.
Yeah. Do you want the topology?
Yeah,
picks?
Go on.
50-50.
Is it? Oh, on the button.
50.
Go on, folks.
Yeah. Which makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, like odds for the most part will never be 50-50.
And they're marginated, I mean, when you see that, you'd be inclined to take Nate at the price, wouldn't you?
You would. No, you would. I think the price does sway it a little bit towards Nate if you're a betting kind of guy, and that's what you were.
Yeah. If you like a punt.
Yeah, if you like a punt. The 5 rounds one is big for me.
It is, yeah. It very much when you think about it, you think of a 3-round main event of a fight night, don't you?
Yeah.
Not a 5-round main event at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it's
5 rounds is very interesting.
It is. It's very interesting. I'm just wondering what Masvidal's cardio looks like, because he has slowed down.
And he's done just over a couple of minutes in his last 2 fights.
Yeah, exactly. And if he is in that mindset of I want to finish these guys, I want to get them out of there, will he do that at his own detriment and gas? Like, I'm leaning towards Masvidal, but like I'm almost talking myself out of it. When I'm talking about the gas and slowing down, and like I'm talking like Masvidal has had a huge problem with this in the past. He hasn't really, but he does slow down way more than Diaz. Like if it goes to the stretch, it's going to be Diaz who looks stronger late. Imagine if this was a close split decision.
Stop.
Wouldn't that just be like
UFC love that? I can see Dana.
They'd love it, but also
Dana's over at the side like
Masvidal and Diaz would just be like, I can't believe it. Like we promoted this with like I hate all these close split decisions, and then it happens. It'd be just the pits.
I think I'm swaying even a little bit as we speak now. I don't know.
Yeah, like Masvidal. I think if he kickboxes, he's gonna be good. If he gets into a boxing match with Nate.
Yeah, okay.
Be a problem.
So how does Jorge win the fight and how does Nate win the fight?
I think Jorge wins the fight if he is slicker, which I think he is, but he also can stay away from the clinch because I think Nate is excellent in the clinch. And even like frame-wise, Nate is he has a much bigger frame than Jorge, and he's just phenomenal from the clinch, and he'll punch at the body to slow him down. So I think if Jorge can pivot away from that, not get caught up against the cage, and just be a little bit slicker, I think he wins a decision. I think if Nate can make it a bit more of a dogfight, because I think Jorge can win a dogfight, but I think Nate is better there. I think he has a better chance there. So, yeah, Jorge being a little bit slicker, being able to kind of stay at range, which is kind of weird because Nate likes to be at range as well at times. But if he can stay at range and kick in range and kick to his legs, Nate doesn't check leg kicks, we notice. I think Jorge wins there. If Nate can make it more of a dogfight, he wins there. And I'm leaning towards a bit of dogfight, so it's like, I think Nate wins, but I don't. I think Jorge wins.
Okay. So Jorge imposes his game plan on the fight.
Yeah.
So hard, man.
Jorge wins by just being a little bit slicker. Just being a little bit slicker, landing the better strikes. I don't like this pick, though. I don't like this pick. Where are you leaning?
I was leaning towards Masvidal, and then I'm talking, and I'm like,
yeah, I know. I know.
I'm going to pick Nate, but I ain't confident, and all I want is a war. That's all I want to see. All I want to see is a good fight.
A few good fights, yeah. So you're going Nate?
Yeah. Okay, so we're against each other. Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen? We'll get to Friday, and you're going to be like, I want to pick Jorge, and I'm going to be like, I want to pick Nate.
I could end up backing Jorge or something.
Yeah, this is phenomenal, though. This is phenomenal. First BMF champion. Yeah. It's going to be unbelievable.
Well, in Nate's eyes, he's already the BMF champion.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. First official BMF champion.
Yeah. Well done. Love this. Co-main event is a cracker too. It's Kelvin Gastelum against Darren Till. Darren Till's first foray up to middleweight, a move that people have been talking about for a long time. First things first, will it help?
I've said before, I often think fighters make excuses, use the weight as an excuse for poor performances at a certain weight. I think the weight definitely was a hindrance to Darren Till at 170. Well, I think it can only help him. How much, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you've seen that, you've seen the video of Darren Till trying to cut weight. Remember
of
that?
him going blind for a minute.
Going blind for a minute. Like, if that's not a problem, I don't know what is. And if that's happened, like I always say this, if you're putting yourself in your worst physical condition 24 hours before a fight, sounds like a terrible idea to me. Because that's like, it sounds so counterintuitive. Like, you should want to be at your best. Like, I want to be at my best. I'm going to fight tomorrow. I want to be so healthy. Yeah. And that's not what guys are doing. So I think the weight does help. And have you seen Darren Till?
Man is looking chunky.
He is looking huge. He probably missed weight for middleweight, which is crazy. But Kelvin Gastelum, it's kind of a nice mirroring effect.
Tough test,
it's a tough test, but a nice little mirroring effect here, because Kelvin Gastelum was in a similar situation. Tried to make welterweight. It's just his body type. It just makes it's tough. Like, he's not Darren Till. He's not like a huge, enormous guy.
Darren Till's that tall, lanky guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas Masvidal, on the mind. Gastelum isn't, but he is like, he just, it seems like it's tough to cut away from. It's not what he does.
He lacks a bit of discipline down there as well.
I'm sure.
And with his body type, he carries just more body fat. So.
Yeah. But yeah, how do you think this one goes, and how do you think it plays out? It's a tough one. It's another tough one. Like, there's a reason why these odds are all very, very close on the card. We were talking about this today.
You sent me the picture.
Work, but yeah, they're all quite close.
I don't know. It's such a tough test for Till at 185. Like, Jesus Christ. There's so many guys he could have fought to come in at a good level at 185. I mean, to come in against a guy who lost a close 5-round decision to the now champion. Yeah. It's fucking badass, man. How do I see it playing out? I don't know. Again, to be honest, I don't know. Who am I leaning towards? I'd love to see Till get a win. Yeah. Because he's fought a row of killers so far, and that's why he's on the run that he's on. I don't know. If that war didn't take Anthony out of Gastelum, I could very easily see him winning the fight.
Which, probably will take something out.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that in the last few. We spoke about it last week with Weidman and Rockhold. I don't know. Like, I'm just looking forward to a good card. Like.
Yeah, me too. This one, I think the main reason why I'm leaning towards Kelvin Gastelum is, you can just lower the volume or something. That should fix it. There we go. The main reason why I'm leaning towards Kelvin Gastelum is because I think one of the main things that hurt Darren Till in his last few fights was a speed disadvantage. And I think, like of Jorge, super fast, and he was super necessary. But he was super fast in his in that shot that he landed. Of course, he set it up. It was beautiful. It was technical, but there was a lot of speed there. Same with Woodley, very, very quick, very, very quick. And this is like Kelvin Gastelum's biggest attribute, in my opinion, especially at this weight. He's just a really, really quick guy. And like remember the punches he landed on Michael Bisping in the pocket? They were beautiful. It wouldn't surprise me with Darren Till, who has that like Muay Thai style, but not that really high guard. It's like he lands a shot and his hands come down. Would not surprise me if tries to land a shot and Kelvin Gastelum comes over the top with a fucking big right hand, drops him, and it's like he's fighting now. Like Darren Till's fighting now, and like I don't know. He's had some time off, but I'm still worried about that chin after two pretty bad losses, especially the Masvidal one.
I think Kelvin has more ways to win the fight than Darren.
I agree.
I mean, do you really see Till winning a 5-round decision?
3 round.
3 rounds, sorry, excuse me. Do you really see him winning a 3-round? Maybe. Like he done it against Wonderboy. But yeah, Wonderboy's a different fighter.
And it was 5 rounds. Yeah, very different fighter. Yeah. More of a point striker.
Yeah, I think Kelvin has more ways to win the fight. The speed thing is interesting because Till has that one-shot power. Yeah. Will he have it at 185? I think he might. I think he probably will carry it up given his size. Yeah, I agree. Do I see him landing it? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. Yeah. Man, he has some big balls taking this fight. This is not an easy fight at 185. He could have easily got a better, not a better fight, but an easier fight than this, more manageable. I thought Derek Brunson. Yeah, he could have. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Kelvin Gastelum. I just think there's going to be a bit of a speed disadvantage for Till. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go. Kelvin Gastelum. Are you the same? You got the Tapology odds there? Yeah, I'll get them now. Are you the same on that one? I think I'll take Kelvin as well. Yeah.
Kelvin, yeah. But to be honest, these fights could go either way. Gastelum 72% on Tapology.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I'm just getting the prices up now at the minute.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so Kelvin 1-2, Darren Till 6-4. Yeah, I think they're fair. I think 72% is quite high, to be honest.
It is quite high, yeah.
I think those prices are fair. 1-2, yeah.
Yeah, and we do have to, Kelvin had that war. That was a tough.
So that'll take a piece of your soul.
Oh, that'll take a piece of your soul. Stephen Thompson against Vicente.
Buzzing to see Stephen Thompson back.
Me too. Such a nice guy against another excellent fighter. Great striking match. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, buzzing to see Thompson back. Or Wonderboy. Really good fight against Luque. Tough fight to come back to. Given the run he's on at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bad KO loss to Pettis. That was bad. I do like Thompson in the fight though.
Yeah, me too. I think Luque is he's a good kicker, but he likes to strike with his hands. He's more of a kind of a boxing centric style, and I think Wonderboy will deal with that pretty well, because I think it's tough to close the distance on Wonderboy. Like, his game is keeping distance, landing that side kick to the body, as like a range finder, and then going to the head, going to the legs, and it's just guys find it very difficult to close distance.
He's very hard to read, and
very, very difficult to read. Like, for Anthony Pettis, like, you can't take anything away from Pettis.
Absolutely no.
Now, he had that win, but like before that, people were like, why is he getting this fight? He was like a lightweight, now he's moving up. But like, he's still a really dynamic striker. Yeah. As is Luque, but he's not even close to being as dynamic as Anthony Pettis. He's more of a throwing combination, technical, good striker, but it's not Showtime kicks. It's not like all this crazy shit that Anthony does. So I think you have to give him credit for that. I'm picking Stephen Thompson, probably on points, just being this, again, kind of similar to what I was saying with Masvidal, just a slicker, crisper guy.
Yeah, I think we just see Wonderboy be this tricky, slick, kind of karate guy again. Yeah, I hope we do, because it'd be good to see him back doing what he does. Yeah. It's been a couple of fights now. I thought he won the first Wonderboy fight. How different his career is if he wins that. Fight. Yeah, the Woodley fight. Sorry. Yeah. How different is his career if he wins that, or if he gets a nod down?
Yeah, very different. Very different.
Yeah, Wonderboy. I'm going to take Wonderboy. What are the topology on that one?
I'd imagine Wonderboy will be
4-6 on Stephen Thompson. Quite like that, and 11-10 on Luque. I quite like the 4-6.
This is kind of where I expected the last fight to be around. It's 65% Thompson on this one.
And that kind of reflects the odds again.
Yeah, so. that's well matched. Not really sure what this fight is doing on the card, on the main card, but whatever. It's all right. Like, it's a fine fight. It's Derek Lewis against Blaggy Ivanov.
It's heavyweight, isn't it? It's
heavyweight, but I get why it's here because of what's on the prelims. They're trying to get people in. But yeah, what's your thoughts on this one? It's heavyweights. What's going to happen?
It's heavyweight. Derek Lewis is always fun. He's probably going to gas at some stage in the fight. If the fight goes anywhere deep, he's probably going to gas. Yeah, I don't know. Ivanov's an interesting one. I think he's a slight favourite, and I think that's quite fair.
I think it's fair. I think you're right. I think what's going to happen is Lewis will look okay early on. The storm will be weathered. The balls will not be hot, and Ivanov will probably win decision. He might get a late finish, just a kind of gassing out and some ground and pound or something. But, the Black Beast is a big puncher. Ivanov is undersized, a heavyweight. Like, he's not really the biggest heavyweight in the world. So, could be a knockout here. But I'm going to go Ivanov, just being, And Derek Lewis is always a back problem. He retired pretty much and he came back. So, yeah.
Yeah, the odds here are 8-11 on Ivanov and even money on Derek Lewis. I'll take Ivanov in a boring decision, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I don't see an overly exciting fight.
No. This is kind of the piss break, isn't it? Yeah.
This is the kind of the one. Yeah. Make your tea, get your food ready for the main events.
This one, 67% are going with Lewis, which he's popped up and he's surprised people before, and not that it will be surprising.
I think there's very much some recency bias in those. Calls.
Nobody knows who Ivanov is either, to be honest. This is a fun fight. The opener to the main card: Kevin Lee against Gregor Gillespie. I'm super high on Gregor Gillespie, but of course Kevin Lee is a stud as well. What's your thoughts on Kevin Lee moving back down to 155 after a failed attempt at welterweight?
Interesting. He struggles at the weight. He struggles. We've seen him with Staff. I think the move up was right. He's a 165er. That's what he is. He's a 165er. or a 160 guy, whatever. I don't like him moving back down, to be honest. I'd like to see him grow into welterweight.
Yeah.
I don't think we see guys given enough time to actually grow into a weight class. We've seen Dustin do it at lightweight, and look at the success he's had there.
Yeah. I think he jumped the shark. He shot his load too quick on this one, going back down. I think he did, because he went up and he lost to a good guy in RDA. He's a fucking really good guy, and then goes immediately back down to 155. 170 was never a good idea. But he's lost at 55 as well, so I don't see what the problem is. He loses to a good guy.
Yeah.
I think he should have gave it another shot there, because I don't like him at 155. I think
especially in this fight as well, man. It's hard.
This is a grinder. This is a guy who can go 3 rounds. We haven't seen him go 5 rounds, but there's no requirement here for that. To be honest, I am very, very high on Gregor Gillespie. I like Kevin Lee, and I think Kevin Lee, of course, has fought the better guys. He mounted Tony Ferguson. That's a big thing. But I just think I think Gregor Gillespie in the next year will probably compete for a title. That's how high I am. I think he's like the next coming of Frankie Edgar. The more developed, the more refined, newer version of Frankie Edgar. I'm gonna go with Gregor Gillespie. I could be proved wrong that he's not the guy I think he is, but I think wrestling, he can take down Kevin Lee. I think Kevin Lee's a good wrestler. I think he can take him down. Striking, I think, to be honest, fancy him. I fancy him in striking. I think he's a really good striker. Leaves himself open a bit, but he's a really good striker. I'm going to go with Gillespie.
Yeah, I think this is brilliant matchmaking to see if Gregor Gillespie is what we think he is.
Yes.
I think the odds are quite fair. I think the odds definitely take into account what we think Gregor Gillespie might be. I think that's fair. He's 4-7 and Kevin Lee is 5-4.
Wow.
I can't disagree with that 4-7. I'm going to take Gillespie as well.
I wonder what that opened up on, because I wonder if it opened up a bit closer, and people have, because a lot of people are talking about Gregor Gillespie. It might not have, but there could have been a little bit. What is that? Slight. He's only a slight favourite according to this.
According to the Vegas odds.
Yeah. So yeah.
What are the Vegas odds?
Minus 165. I don't know what that is in theirs.
It's actually it's roughly the same. 165. I think that's roughly 13-20.
Alright, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so it's roughly the same.
Cool. But I'm going
he's actually a bit bigger than in that case.
Yeah, I'm going Gillespie.
Yeah, same. I'll take Gillespie.
Yeah, and let's see what Tapology think of that one. Wow, 76% Gillespie.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Hard to disagree.
It's hard to disagree. I'm not going to go into the undercard fully, but there's some fucking great fights down there. There's some great fights down there. I'll let you go first. What's your pick of the litter on the undercard?
It's an easy one this week, innit? It's Johnny Walker, Corey Anderson. We want to see Johnny Walker.
Yes, we do. Why isn't he on the main card?
I assume he's the headline of the prelims. That's why. Buy the pay-per-view, please, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he's on it.
Look at this mad crazy bastard
with a mohawk and doing spinny shit.
Yeah, and injuring himself when he wins. Yeah. So is he going to injure himself after he wins?
I hope not.
Is he going to win?
Is he going to win? Yeah, I think so. Good matchmaking again. I think it's the step up. It's a decent step up to see where he's at. I think he'll improve again from his last fight. I think we're going to see him improve for the next couple of fights.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd have him have 2 or 3 more fights and then a title. He's another guy who can get fast tracked. We spoke about this earlier in the fan questions. I think Johnny Walker wins. I think he looks very good in doing so as well.
Yeah. There is a huge crop of really good prospects on this card. Johnny Walker is one. You have, of course, Gregor Gillespie on the main card. Then Edmund Shabazian is under in the prelims, and he fights Brad Tavares. Some other people made their names on Brad Tavares as well, and had some good performances against him, Adesanya. So Edmund Shabazian, he looks like a world beater right now, so I'm interested to see what he does. Shane Burgos against Amir Khani is fun. That's fun.
Shane Burgos is actually the biggest favourite on the card. He's 4-11. Edmund Shabazian.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Edmund is 4-6. Johnny Walker's 4-7. Our old friend Andrei Arlovsky's also on the card.
Yes, he is.
Slight underdog.
Say his opponent's name.
Rosenstruck.
First one? It's actually that hard. Just a lot of letters.
Arlovsky's a slight underdog, 5-4.
Yeah.
Damn good card, man.
It is. And even the opener, Julio Arce against Hakeem Dawodu. That's fun.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
That's a couple of close fights. Like that one's 4-6 and Arce is 11-10. Yeah. Damn good card, man.
Really
if you're looking to get into MMA,
yeah,
watch this card.
100%.
Yeah. because it's so different to other to boxing where you can watch a card and you're guaranteed good fights from the start.
Yeah.
Not a load of plumbers.
This is Educating Young Sean, take 3, and this is the part of the show where Sean goes off and watches a fight that I give him, and then he comes back and he tells me what he thinks, and then we do it all over again. So Sean, last week I gave you a classic. It was UFC 1, Taylor Tooley versus Gerard Gordeau. What's your thoughts?
Mental, really.
Yep.
Yeah. A big sumo wrestler against a guy in half a gi. And then like, what was it ruled? It was ruled like he kicked him in the face.
So I don't know if it was ruled a knockout.
I don't know what it was ruled.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Everyone was so confused. They were like, "What's going on?
Yeah.
What? Oh my god!"
Because there was supposed to be no referee stoppages.
Yeah,
you know, in theory, like I mean, it had to be like fully knocked out. So nobody knew. It was the first fight broadcast. So nobody knew, including the referee, what to do. How do you rule this?
And on commentary, they were talking about where exactly on his face. They were like, it landed just below his cheekbone, as if that has any relevance to. Like, I don't know. It's not like the new rules where his leg was grounded or his knee or whatever. It's like it just landed below his cheekbone. Yeah, illegal. I don't know. Mental. Like, I don't know what to make of it. Like.
Yeah, it was a perfect fight though, wasn't it, for the UFC to start? Like at the time, what they were going for.
Yeah,
they weren't going for like this new sport that's going to take over the world. They were going for the bloodbath and the freak show of it all. And this was the fucking perfect fight to put on.
100%.
You know, a sumo wrestler fighting a Dutch kickboxer. I said French last week. Gerard Gordeau sounds French, and then it's over in what? How long did that go? 10 seconds? No. 20 seconds?
Less than a minute anyway,
was
for
it?
sure, yeah.
Madness. One thing we didn't do last week, we didn't give the last fight a score, and I'm gonna make a little graphic with like
We've been talking about this for so long.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But last week we didn't give a score. Do you remember what the fight was last week? It was a kickboxing match, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Mark Hunt and
Sefo.
Fedor.
Oh, so that was an MMA match. So we're gonna score both of them because we didn't do it last week. So last week, I know you're.
Are we doing Fedor's one?
Fedor, yeah. Fedor, Mark Hunt. What was the score over 5 championship rounds?
3
out of 5.
Yeah.
And this week, for this one,
a 4 just for the absolute like total confusion of it all. I can imagine at the time it would be viewed differently to now, whereas right now I'm just looking at it and I'm like, what was this like?
Yeah. Well, no, at the time the same thing happened. People were like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
You know, it's madness. A fight I'm going to give you next week is a really under the radar one. This is one that I have loved for many years, and I never hear anybody talking about it, but it's a fucking great fight. It's UFC 157. It's on the prelims. It was like middle of the prelims. It was Dennis Bermudez against Matt Grice.
Okay.
And this is your kind of fight.
Yeah, Bermudez likes a war. So
he does like a war. I
like this one.
Yeah. Speaking of wars, this segue does not work. Let's move on to Sean's weird news.
First up this week, Rob, we have another meme.
Yes.
244 related. You ready for yourself?
Him. I thought I said for a second. I think she's talking to someone else. The last few days she's been glued to her phone. Constantly refreshing MMA Twitter just in case any more UFC 244 drama breaks out. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. I love these memes.
It's great.
The drama has been at
it's been mad, hasn't
all-time high. Yeah. It's been mad.
We spoke about that earlier in the show, obviously.
We did. Thanks, Sean.
No, we spoke about some fights on this podcast.
We did.
No Context Sound is back again.
We need
Great
some
stuff.
audio, do we? Hopefully this works.
So this one's kind of in reference to, you know, the kind of Twitter trolls who people will say sitting on mum's basement all day, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of in reference to this.
Right.
So hopefully the audio works.
Do you have a job, or do you just sit in your bedroom at your mum's house knocking one out all day? Do you have a job, or do you just sit in your bedroom at your mum's house knocking one out all day?
Sure do.
Do you have that kind of guy?
Yeah, love it. Class. No Context Hearing, big fan.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
This is my favourite one this week. This one genuinely made me laugh.
This guy has a good Twitter account.
Yeah. Have you seen this tweet?
No.
Okay, it's genuinely pretty funny.
I know some people get bugged when fighters like Rory McDonald thank God on the mic after their fight, but my problem with it is you're a fool if you think God watches Bellator. That's brilliant. That's great.
God definitely doesn't watch Bellator.
No, Jesus Christ.
That's because God's not real.
Hey! Oh, Jesus. We just lost our Christian following.
Yeah, I can't imagine that was too high.
Yeah, or our any religious following.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all this week. A short one. Short and simple.
Short
and
one,
sweet.
but UFC 244 was the priority. That was what we wanted to talk about, and I had fun talking about it, Sean. I can't wait for the card. As we said after we talked about the fights, leave your comments below with your picks for the card, and check out the other videos we put out on the Nate Diaz one.
Rob's been dropping some fire of late.
Dropping some fire. But yeah, Sean, wonderful. I'll see